Hello, everybody, and welcome to At the Picnic Season 3, Episode 12. Danny, we've got another awesome guest again this week. We're going to introduce her very, very shortly. But first of all, we've got a bit of past racing to go through. Firstly, on New Year's Day, we were at Merton. Weather was nice. It wasn't too hot. You had a good day. Jeff
Yep.
Brunston and Sean Cooper had a double. Sean ended up getting a treble, of course, on my boy all too Creedy in the cup. So well done to
In the
Don and
cup.
Sean.
Yep,
So it
absolutely.
was a
I
lovely
must
day.
say, I was a bit cheeky to Jeffrey. I went up to him after the first and after he won the first, and I said, "Congratulations, well done, mate. That was great." Persistence certainly paid off because I think it's a 40-odd start maidener.
Yep.
And then when he came out and rode the double, I said to him, I said, "You should have bloody given up riding years ago. You're doing a better job of training your horses than what you were riding them." So
What was his response?
he goes to me, anyone else had said that, I'll take it as an insult, but coming from you, I'll cop it all right. So, look, it was one of those horses. He and Wendy have actually bred as well. So
Oh,
there's a
nice.
lot of time and a lot of effort that goes into them when you breed them yourself. It's bloody hard work. So to see him get up with that result with one that he's bred himself, it was great for him. I don't know that he'd be able to remember when he had a winning double.
Good on him.
So,
Well done.
no, absolutely ripping. So that was great.
Then we went to Hillsville on Saturday, bit of a hot one. Now, we'll get
Yes.
to the big story in a minute there, but first we'll congratulate Sean again and Michael Binney in the cup on Diamanda,
Amanda.
and
Yep.
Sean gets
That
another
horse had
treble.
yeah, that horse has always had pretty good form. He's a pretty handy sort of a horse, old Diamander. And Michael rides him most of his own work and everything else. I think he only gets somebody else on it occasionally when he goes in to gallop him and stuff. So he's got access to bush tracks and stuff that he works him around on. And yeah, very well deserved. And Mick's obviously been, a lot of us know him from Balnaring's being the president at the Balnaring Race Club.
Yep.
And he's always sort of had one in work somewhere along the lines. And Diamanda last year had run a couple of handy races at the pros as well. He just hadn't really found his form again this year, but he had run some really good races without actually winning anything much. So it was really good for him to get his horse back into the winner's stall. It was a really great result for him. So
Well done.
everybody lasted through the heat, which was pretty lucky. I'm glad
Yes.
I went to Merton. I've got to say, I've never seen that track look so good. So it was an
Oh,
absolute credit to him. There was
wasn't
beautiful
it?
grass cover all around the track. It raced fantastic there all day. And it wasn't too hot. It only got to sort of mid
No.
20s or so, and there was a bit of a breeze kicking. So it was a
Nice.
ripping day there. Fashions on the field were, you know, few and far who hadn't entered in it. There was a heap of people in them. So it was a really good day.
Well,
Well done to the club for their day out.
Kermit had a crack at the fashions of the field, but he forgot to get
Oh,
dressed, so that didn't help him.
are you sure they didn't disqualify him for a
No,
lack
no,
of
no, no, no.
clothing?
Well, they let him in. They let him in, but they said, look, he's been invited actually to go into the Yay Fashion of the Fields next week. In the most
So
humorous
what's he going to
couple.
do? Raid your wardrobe or Miss Piggy's?
We were talking about putting a wig on him. We're on to it, Danny. We'll have him dressed up
Look out.
something nice. So the big story at Hillsville, and this lovely lady hates being in the spotlight. She hates being talked about, but we have to mention it. And I've even asked to get her on the show, and she said no effing way. So we're talking about Jackie Joyner here. Got her
Yep.
license back after 30 years, Casey. How's this for a story? 30 years from a picnic license. First start back, she wins. And that was, of course, on Dar Deputy in the
Guard
first.
deputy. Yep. And good old Casper, he's the clown horse of their stable. I've ridden him both at the races and a bit of work. He's the lead pony at the beach, but that's about it because he's an absolute terrorist to ride track work when it suits him. He's a bastard. And he's quite cantankerous when you go out and ride him race days too. It's whatever Casper feels like doing.
Yep.
And Jack rode him an absolute treat. She did such a great job on him. She looked like a little midget on him because he's a bloody big horse and she's
He
only
is.
about my height as well. So, look, it was so good to see her back. She's been very quietly chipping away at it in the background. And no, she doesn't like the spotlight being on her. David's a little bit the same. They're both a bit gun shy in that regard. But their team, as always, are running really, really well. And it was a super result. And congratulations to them both. It was so good
Absolutely.
to see.
Absolutely.
Um,
Great.
yeah, no, it was
So
just brilliant.
it's one,
What a way to return.
oh, it's one of those inspirational stories. And as I said, I wanted to get her on the show, but it just won't happen. I've been told by
No,
David and her good friend Nicole
Nicole.
that it won't be
Yep.
happening. So I tried.
And
Everybody, I
so
tried.
if you'll vouch for it, look, I've known Jack for years. I've known her since I was 16. I rode for her as an apprentice, and she's always been the same. So,
Yep.
but she grew up around the O'Sullivans, and did her time and apprenticeship down there in the Western Districts. And yeah, between the two of them, you won't find harder working people if you try.
No.
They have an amazing setup with an amazing amount of horses, and have dealt with some truly amazing horseflesh, and they do a fantastic job in their rehabs and pre-training and everything else. And it's really good to see that they've got a stable of their own that they're playing with and having so much fun with.
Absolutely. All right. It's time to introduce our lovely guest. We have Casey Parker on. Now, we've had a clerk of the course on before recently, of course, with Sally Wynn.
Yeah,
So I thought,
Sally.
let's get another one. So Casey's a clerk of the course at Hillsville, Pakenham and Yarra Glen. Also fills in when she can. So, and also is on the Druin committee. So we're going to find out a bit of gossip about how Druin went for their Cup Day. So Casey, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. I should
Don't
say.
recognise you without your skull cap, Casey.
Yes, he looks different.
You're in my red uniform.
Yeah.
So first of all,
It's a bit of a thing with you clerks. We don't recognise you without your jackets and your helmets. But welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us tonight. And how did everybody pull up after Druin?
yes, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, they were a bit tired just from the heat and the big day. We started pretty early because they moved the races forward. But generally pretty happy. We were really happy to have a race meeting go ahead finally. Been a rough couple of years on the committee. But yeah, numbers were down a little bit. It was a pretty hot day and they did move them the races earlier. But the race meeting happened, so we were thrilled.
Absolutely. Hopefully, it won't be so hot next year, and this year now, and you'll be able to get a couple off in a couple of years, and the numbers will pick back up for you.
Yeah, hopefully. We had about 800 people there in total. Not quite what we're used to, but
no, you guys normally got a good 3,000 or 4,000 there as a general rule.
Yeah.
It was always a pretty good and rowdy day. So hopefully, once everybody knows that it's out and happening again, you'll be able to get going again.
Yeah, so we're just going to push on and try and come back bigger this year and see how we go.
Absolutely. So how many years have you been clerking, and what else do you do apart from clerking?
So I clerk at the trots and at Racing Vic. We've been doing the trots maybe 8 or 9 years, and Racing Vic more recently, the last couple of years. I also work at the RSPCA in the horse department, so just a couple of days a week to fill in the time.
Yep. So whereabouts do they keep their horses? Are they down here in Pearcedale or where are
they're
they
in
now?
Pearcedale. Pearcedale. They're on, I think it's 30 acres. They've got about anywhere between 20 and 40 horses on site. Pretty busy. Pending what's going on, but I think they have about 30 at the moment, so busy enough.
You would see some pretty hard cases coming through there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I guess it's all sort of evened out by the good outcomes. So there's for every bad story, there's a good one.
So is it easy to rehome a lot of these horses that go there, Casey?
Mostly sort of the older ones, that they get in that might be in their 20s are a little bit harder, and the bigger horses sometimes take a really special person to take on a older, bigger horse. But there's homes around for them. So
good.
They're out there.
So how did you get involved with horse racing?
So I've always ridden, and we've always had horses on the farm back home. And then sort of when I got to 18 and needed to start working, I didn't really want to do anything other than horses. I started off in some trotting stables and stuff like that, and just haven't been able to leave since.
Bit like the rest of us that are still in racing at our ages. So whereabouts did you grow up, Case?
Just past Warrigal. Mum and Dad are on a dairy farm. So grew up around Warrigal There was not a heap of galloping trainers around that way, so sort of went towards the trots initially. Yeah, and then it just sort of pushed into gallopers the last few years. So,
the dairy farming bug didn't get you then?
I'd rather get up and ride a horse 7 days a week than milk a cow.
It's hard yards. It's a full credit to anyone who does farming or has farming in their family. It is very hard.
Yeah,
lifestyle.
it's not easy, and I wouldn't willingly choose it, but they do a good job, and the farm's still running now. So
that's a good effort of them. That's to be congratulated. So dare I ask, what would you do in your spare time? Because you probably have heaps like the rest of us idiots involved in racing.
Well, when I had a spare 5 minutes, I decided to join the drilling committee. So that's mostly taking phone calls and writing back to emails and stuff like that. I've got 30 acres in Bunyip. We're at the moment currently setting it up for a horse adjustment. So spend a lot of time pulling down fences and stuff like that. So all the fun things.
Absolutely. So what else? Have you got family and stuff that are helping set up the adjustment, or?
Dad.
Yep, good girl.
So he's retired now, so he's regretting retiring because he spends more time helping me than he ever did working.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yep. So a very slow process, but we'll get there.
It'll get there eventually. So what sorry, my cat's trying to walk across the screen, so I'm just holding it over there. What other things have ticked your interest with the horse racing and the clerking at the races and stuff?
Well, I really like just the whole concept of race day. I like, being there. It's very exciting. You sort of get to have your horse there, so you're out for a day on your horse. You get to sort of showcase your horse's skills because obviously a lot of work, goes into the clerk's ponies. It's just a really fun atmosphere.
How have you found the picnic races in comparison to the professional tracks?
I really like, like the sort of sense of community with the picnic racing, like the small committees and, meeting committee members and everyone that goes like above and beyond to get their race meetings up. I've obviously had a little bit to talk to them about, with Druid as well. The racing's probably slightly less high pressure just because the numbers are a little smaller than the other races. The gaps are a little bit longer.
Yep.
So, but no, really good. Yeah, really good environment. It's been good.
And I think the camaraderie at the picnics is a little more social than what it tends to be at the pros as well. So it gives you, I think that's what gives you the real community feel about it as well.
Yeah, and I'm not like super brave with approaching new people, but I found at the picnics a lot of people will come up to me and I'll be in a conversation before I can freak out. So
yeah, fair enough. So what's your horse riding background? Give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, well, so I guess we just always had horses on the farm. They just were there. Always started riding them, went to pony club. Like more recently started camp drafting. I do barrel racing. When I was working at racing stables, we ride in the trotters a little bit. They sort of appreciate a little bit of a, mix up from the carts. Yeah. And then it's just eventually progressed to clerking. So
did you ever ride one in the cart?
They don't have the cart on them, but we did used to ride them in track work. Like under saddle, just to build up the back muscles a bit, and sometimes it helps with the more spicy ones just to settle them down a little bit. So
Did you ever drive them?
Yeah, I have driven them. I like riding them more. The like sort of disconnect. I like being on them rather than behind them, but some people prefer it the other way around.
How did you find driving them? I've always been fascinated by it, to be honest.
I don't like how you don't have the feel of the horse. underneath you. So you've only really got their mouth to sort of settle them down if they get a bit up and about. Also, their feet are really close to your face.
I've wondered about that.
But no, like it's nice, especially when you sit behind a nice one. It's nice to just like have hold of, you know, speed. But yeah, definitely rather riding them.
Yep, I would too. I think. I've never tried driving them or sitting in a sulky, but I've always been fascinated by it, and I couldn't believe how quick they actually can go, considering they are only trotting. That always amazes me. Yeah.
Yep.
So, what else? So with Druin and that this year, apart from your numbers being down, what were the reports back on the track? And that, was everybody really happy with how it was?
Yeah. I don't believe we got any like negative reports on the track, which was really good. Obviously we've had, you know, problems here and there with it. So yeah, the general consensus was that the racing was pretty good and everyone was pretty happy with it. So that was the main thing, because we want, you know, horses there. That's the start, to get the horses there.
Absolutely. Oh, that's really good. With the tracks and that you work at, have you got any other tracks that you'd really like to work at, both in the harness and with the gallopers, with your clerking and stuff?
I mean, with like the gallopers, I guess the ultimate's probably Flemington. I'm not sure it's on the cards for a while yet, but it, you know, it's nice to have a ambition. I already work at Melton, which is our like city track at the Trots. I guess that I wouldn't mind going on a road trip to Menangle. It's there, that New South Wales city track. Just it's the biggest and the best one, but yeah, so always like to go to the next big meeting.
So have you got any highlights, be it clerking at either of the courses or seeing good horses in the flesh or race days or anything that you've seen?
So recently I did Sale Cup. I was pretty excited about that. It was sort of the biggest money race that I'd ever worked at. And then I worked at Pakenham Cup just a couple of weeks ago, and that was pretty exciting too, because they had the meteorite. Is that the big race with the I rushed back to lead back in the winner.
Oh, that's good. So have you had any really good days or really bad days for the meetings that you've had to deal with runaway horses or anything like that?
I mean, sometimes it seems to go in waves. Like you'll get a day where, you know, 3 horses get loose and one bites you, and you know, they'll just give you a really hard time, and you'll have 17 leads and stuff like that. And then you'll do a meeting where you have no leads and the weather's perfect and they all behave. So
that's nice.
That is nice. But yeah, it's very hit and miss. It just sort of goes one way or the other, it seems to. So.
Hang on a sec. Sorry.
Your clerk of the course horse, Casey, where did you get that from?
So I've got 2. I've got a quarter horse that I brought off a quarter horse stud, and I've got a stock horse that come down from Queensland. And I have another one on the way up that's a thoroughbred. He's very slowly making his way up to the trials. He'll probably start at the trials in the next month or 2.
So obviously your horse has to test in front of the stewards and people like that. So obviously what do you do, you know, as their owner to make sure that they're all okay to do it?
So I think the main thing is you sort of try and get them out and about and put them in situations where they're going to feel like a bit of pressure on them. So they might be a little bit uncomfortable, sort of teach them that those environments are okay, and teach them sort of coping mechanisms for when it is high pressure, so that, you know, in situations where you'll need to call on them, that, you know, you can trust them to be ready. So yeah, basically at the moment it's just getting him out as much as I can, showing him as much stuff as I can, so that nothing's a big surprise.
Yeah, good idea.
So has your racehorse that you're slowly educating to being a clerk horse, has he raced?
Yeah, I think he had about 17 starts, but never won a race.
So he's a slow one. So how do you go
Yeah.
about getting him to tone it down when they get behind the barriers and that sort of thing?
I haven't re-shown him yet, but I've already teed up the other clerks, to maybe just stand right next to me so that, if he sees their horse not being upset, that'll, maybe comfort him that he shouldn't be upset. I'm sure initially he will be a bit funny, but I think it'll just be repetitive and just keep doing it until he realizes his new job is to not jump with them.
Yep. So how do you do that? Do you take them to the trials or do you take them to track work, or what do you do with them there?
Yeah, we'll start out as at trials, and we'll probably start out as like an extra clerk so that I'm not super like vital to the operation. So yeah, probably just start out just showing him, just tagging along as many times as I can, and then gradually build up his workload.
Yeah. What other sort of exposure things do you do to them? Do you take them out on the roads and stuff, or is it just more to do with going to track work and dealing with it?
No, I do lots of stuff. Yeah, like take them out, walk them along the road, get them used to cars because there's cars about. Take them to comps to get used to kids running around everywhere and stuff like that. Just put music on so they're used to loud sounds and just as much stuff as you can throw at them.
Yep. So do you, with your lead ponies and that, do you lead your other lead ponies off them as well to get them used to leading horses?
Yeah. And I have a very unpleasant mare here that's the top step.
So she teaches them how to deal with tricky ones.
Yeah, so once you've led around a really quiet lead pony and you're really good at that, you can graduate to the mean mare. So she sorts me out. But they need it though, because they have to be pretty solid at the races.
Absolutely. I love the way that you've got the cantankerous mare to show them.
Yeah. I'm glad she's good for something.
Everybody likes a good mare.
We've just got under 10 minutes left, Danny, if you want to shoot Casey some of those quick ones, and of course I'll get our friend ready.
All right. We haven't said much about the weekend's racing either yet, Paul. Just a quick token on that as well, because we've got 2 meetings this week.
We have.
So I've got Woolamai and Mansfield. Mansfield Cup, obviously, this weekend. And Woolamai's fields have managed to stay pretty solid. Look out, Kermit's turned up already.
Yep.
And Woolamai Cup would just about be due for their cup meeting. I think the next meeting, the one after this one, I think. But my memory could be not quite right
and
there.
Yay's next weekend.
And Yay's the following weekend. So, okay, back to business. Casey, where's your favourite place to eat?
Anywhere with pasta.
Nice. What was the last time you went to the movies to see?
I think it was way back when the Barbie movie come out.
I've actually seen that. Actually, I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Zoe carted me off to it, and I've got to say it was better than what I anticipated. It was different.
Yeah, it wasn't really what I was expecting, but it was good.
Yep. All right, we'll have to ask you, Paul, what's your favourite question?
Oh, yes. Casey, who's your AFL team?
Essendon.
Yay! Go the Bombers.
Kermit doesn't feel well now. Now, Casey, Kermit wants to know, are you a taken lady?
Yes, sorry, Kermit.
Oh, sorry, Kermit. I know he's been itching to ask you that question.
Persistent.
He is, and he's becoming a real disgrace. So, like we asked Sally Wynn a few weeks ago, can he jump on the back of the horse with you one day at the racetrack and you show him what you do?
Yeah, he can come out.
Yeah. No, have you got a helmet for him?
No, he just has to hold on to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
Oh,
we
okay, so
find
you
one
don't.
that's big enough for his head.
I thought he'd have to wear a helmet, but that's okay. So, like, like we'll just tie him onto your back.
I think he'd bounce, wouldn't
He'd
he?
bounce. He'd bounce.
I
He'd
think
bounce
so.
all right.
We'll try.
Yeah.
So,
So,
look, Paul, you might run along and catch him anyway.
yeah, well, I'll do that. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
that'd be all right.
so
You'll
there's
be right.
no chance you can take you out for a drink.
I'll keep him on the list.
He heard that the Robin Hood up the road's pretty good.
It is good, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, he'll shout, but you just have to drive him home.
So I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
That's it.
Not very encouraging, is it,
No,
Kate?
so no, it's not. All right. So just
He's
everyone.
probably a bit tired. I'm not sure how you'd go getting money out of him either, just quietly. I don't know that he earns his keep that well.
He's bled us dry here. He drinks all my beer, eats all the food. He's a disgrace. So he's actually going to be at Yay in the Fashion and the Fuels next week. He's been quarterly invited. So there you go.
Good. I look forward
Yeah.
to seeing
All right.
photos.
Yeah. Got to find
Yeah,
something for him to
me
wear.
too, I think.
All right.
Not sure that I'm game to ask what he's going to wear, but that'll be interesting.
We'll find something.
I'm sure you will.
Richmond footy
Okay,
jumper.
so oh God, help us. Anyway, okay. I've lost my train of thought.
Usually
Sorry.
ask if you're going to go for dinner, where's your favourite place? Oh, you said pasta.
Oh, pasta.
Yeah, home cooked meal or
Beer,
takeaway.
wine, or spirits?
Home cooked
Beer,
meal
wine,
or
or
takeaway.
spirits?
Yeah.
Oh, spirits.
Spirits. Ooh.
What ones?
Probably gin.
Oh, I
Nice.
actually thought you were going to say Bundy there.
I've passed my Bundy days.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hearing you. Yeah. So it would be,
Yeah.
is that gin and tonic, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Tell Kermit.
Kermit has just ran out the door. I think I know where he's going. He's going to come back with a bottle of gin and he's going to find
That's
you.
a very bright pen you have there.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? It's one of those little 4-clicker ones.
You won't lose it in a hurry.
Oh, I've already lost a few of them. That happens. What else do we? Oh, yes. You went and saw Barbie. What else do we normally ask?
Is there anything you're streaming on TV?
Yes.
For all the murder podcasts.
Oh, nice.
I can't help
Say
myself.
that I do the same thing. I don't have time to read or watch anything, so they end up on my Audible and I listen to them.
Serial
Yeah.
killer. Learning how to be a serial killer. Fantastic. Right.
Yep,
Stay
good
away
work,
from her.
good work.
Hide
Have you
all the
got any
knives.
that come to? Yeah, watch out, Kermit. Have you got any particular ones that have been particularly gruesome or enjoyable?
I like there's one that's just called Case File that I really like.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I've been watching like it's called like I Am a Killer on Netflix. It's just people that are in jail.
Yeah,
It sounds really
watched a couple
funny
of
to say it out loud.
No, but they're really good. I've watched a couple of them as well, and they're really good. Yeah, so I know where you're coming from. I also listened to a podcast that was on the Moors murders in England, and they were horrifically gruesome. They were gross, but yeah. Anyway,
But you still
that's a whole
listen to
other.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really good. So yeah, don't mess with me, Paul. I've listened to lots of things. I'm good at this.
We're catching up in the morning. I'm worried now. I'm going to put a knife in my back pocket.
There's other people around,
Oh, that's
and
all
my
right
husband's got the day off, so
perfect.
everybody's.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, you're completely safe.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be home. So yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not with it this afternoon.
We've only got a couple of minutes left anyway, so it's all good. Casey, thank you so much for joining us. And like a lot of people, I know you were a bit nervous about coming on here, so hopefully we made it very comfortable for you and an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Case. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the show. But yeah, good luck to everybody racing this weekend. Thank you to Peter and Fran at Picnic Bet. for putting up with us, especially when we're so fluent tonight.
I'm still in holiday mode. I will be for a while. And next Thursday night, Danny, we've got Al Tate, the president of Yay, who, of course, we're going to have him on before our before the Yay Cup meeting. So that'll be fantastic to have him on, and they do a wonderful job there at Yay, of course.
And good old Dedarang back up and running this year. They've sent out emails to say that they're up and running. They've had track inspections and all the rest of it at this stage, and they're ready to run.
Fantastic.
Camping facilities and facilities to yard horses and stuff overnight, with also the possibility of a shuttle bus from the course to the pub and back for the night as well. So, yeah, we'll catch up with them later in closer to their meeting.
I'll drive the shuttle bus. I'll drive that if people shout me.
As long as you can't get shouts if you're driving the shuttle.
Why would I drive it then?
There's no drinking and driving.
Kermit will drive it.
No thanks. I'll pass. I'll walk if that's happening.
Right.
Casey, that's one meeting that you need to go to.
Yeah.
Whether it's as a clerk or as a spectator, as Dedarang, it is an absolute ripping meeting up there. So put that one on your hit list for another time to make it through.
We're going to get cut off. Thank you, everybody. We will. Good luck to everyone on the weekend, and we'll be back next Thursday.
No worries. Take care, guys. All the best. Good luck to everybody this weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you, Casey. See ya. Bye.
Bye.